and welcome to Connections for Life. I'm Ted Pete.
I'm Chad Kubo. Oh, it disappeared.
Why does he make this big face?
Couldn't you have come up with you don't look like a rocker, you look like a guy that was homeless that went to a rock concert.
No, you look like Garth. You look like Garth with poop in your hair.
My favorite part of the ensemble is that like you have like this really like unkempt look, but you're wearing really nice glasses.
Yeah.
You look too facially put together.
There you go. There you go. That and your face
I'm leaving it on.
filtered. It's funny.
You're leaving it on the whole time?
I don't know. I got it. I think I'm gonna have to get rid of it because the green screen thing.
I don't know, but it's like, yeah, it's like hard on the eyes.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
It's funnier, Joe, than what had happened to him during a couple pre-calls the other day. We were talking to people and his eyes kept like becoming the green screen. So
really?
Looked, like extremely creepy.
I wasn't on for those. I
lost my hat.
Yeah.
Just put your hair back on.
Funny though to see his eyes like all of a sudden like turn into like the back of the screen.
Wait, stop really quick before you change your background. Everybody pick out of that list their favorite band.
Ooh.
I mean, not their favorite band, but the favorite band on the
favorite
list.
band on there.
Yeah.
Nirvana.
Yeah, Nirvana. Easy.
Nirvana.
Easy for me.
Yep.
That would probably be my least favorite.
Really? Oh no, Beastie Boys. I didn't see the Beastie Boys.
I was gonna say Beastie Boys.
I did not see that.
Can you move back over this way a little bit?
Oh, Guns N' Roses is there though too. Ooh.
Or I'm a little different. I was gonna say
You were gonna say Backstreet Boys, Joe, weren't you?
I was, yeah, but I didn't see that. Or Bieber.
Insane.
Blink 182's down at the bottom there.
I like the Ramones too.
Well, I like the Ramones too.
Yeah, actually, I like a lot of those bands.
Yeah,
it's funny that some of the bands, but it's funny that some of the bands that are on there like don't really fit in.
Yeah, like Blink 182 and Aerosmith and
or the
Springsteen
Strokes
are not in the same genre.
Or the Killers.
The Strokes.
All right.
Rolling Stones are there.
All right,
I'm going to change it so we can't talk about it.
We beat that horse to death.
How was your weekend, Joe?
It
was 4 days ago.
I don't know. What did I do?
Oh, I remembered now. Go ahead. Do you want me to go first?
I don't know. I was with the kids. I don't know what we did though.
Oh, I have a really cool thing that we did on Saturday.
I don't know. My week was great. Go ahead.
It was our birthday on Thursday, as we know from last week's show. But I was lucky enough. My little brother came and visited with his girlfriend from Allentown, from Pennsylvania. And on Saturday night, we were just looking for things to do, and we found the Fairfield County Infirmary had flashlight tours at night, and it's heavily haunted. Been on all these things. It's really
you guys
pretty
love
crazy.
That stuff.
I
like you
love
couldn't convince me to do.
We went around 9. We went about 9 o'clock. I had like 9 seltzers, and we went about 9 o'clock, and it was an hour long. They took us through the whole thing. It was creepy, man. Creepy. All you have is a flashlight. That's it. And
by the way,
tour.
When Chad says seltzers, he's talking about like White Claws and Trulies. He's not talking about like.
No, I was trying not to. I was trying.
Whatever. I'm going to mention them. Maybe they'll throw $1 at us.
Make sure you hashtag them in this week's post, guys.
Be our sponsor.
Maybe they'll send me a case or something. I mean, I get enough rebates from them.
I bet you
$5 rebate.
I bet you a case that they don't.
Bet you a case that they don't. Joe, did you figure out what you did?
No.
Okay. So I had take a guess, guys. Guess what we did? We
went to basketball.
Went to basketball, and then you had a date night.
No, I didn't get a date night in this weekend.
After 70 episodes, I feel like you should do something different on the weekend.
Really? After 70?
71.
So we had a showcase on Sunday that we went to up in Cortland featuring a couple teams, and we took one of our teams up there, and they showed out. They did really, really well. We had it was great. A couple coaches, college coaches were there watching in attendance.
Was it a showcase showdown?
No, it was a 16U showcase. So we actually only took 2 16-year-olds with us. The rest were 14 and 15.
Everybody else was 19.
So that's how some AAU goes. There's some AAU people that do that.
Yeah, correct them.
So
we had LeBron there. It was awesome.
Yeah, LeBron played actually. So today, since Joe can't remember what he did this weekend, we'll go to our guest, who is Mr. Jim Crowley, who Joe can do the introduction for because
I think Joe. That's a lot of pressure.
Close friends.
I like that.
Well, hold on. I wouldn't say close friends. So I get to meet
Yeah, he wouldn't claim that either.
I
set that up. Because I knew Joe was going to say something back. I'm proud of myself. I don't know.
Brianna, can you edit that part out, please? So I met Jim at the at the APGA. Stop doing that because you move us around the screen. At the APGA show at the Tamaya Resort in Albuquerque, New Mexico, or it's actually in Santa Ana, Puebla, New Mexico. A couple of weeks ago, a month ago, whatever, and we had a few pops in the pool hanging out during some off time, and we got to talking, and he's coming on the show. Jim's been I don't know his stats, he'll tell you. I think he's been like 30 years.
I can give you that portion of it. He's about 30 years in this. I mean, just a really interesting background coming from Maritimes, and like his story, which you'll hear, is pretty awesome about just how he met his wife, all kinds of stuff, and how he actually ended up in the natural gas industry, kind of like the rest of us. Yeah, kind of like the rest of us, accidentally. But so he spent 10 years at the city of Chambersburg, and he's been 20 years at Easton Utilities in Eastern Shore, Maryland. So I think Joe did a good job, and I actually had the stats. I'm proud of myself.
Hey, look at that team effort.
Team effort. I knew who was coming on the show.
You did.
Joe had the background, and Chad had the stats. Teamwork makes the dream work. All right. So without further ado, welcome to Connections for Life, Mr. Jim Crowley. Hello, Jim, and welcome to Connections for Life. How are you, my friend?
Oh, fantastic! Beautiful day here in the Eastern Shore of Maryland.
I like the shirt and tie. Thanks for classing up the joint.
Well, I'd have worn mine, Jim, if I knew you were getting dressed up today.
Hold on, let me go put on my tuxedo t-shirt. What's up, Jim? How are you, pal?
Yeah, doing very well. As so typical of many of my days, you start off with a plan and immediately goes haywire. So, here I am, kind of disheveled, but excited to talk to you all this afternoon.
It's only the days that end in Y. It's just
not a big deal.
Days that end in Y. Jim, really quickly, for those of you that don't know, Jim works for Easton Utilities. But the very first question we always love to ask is, most people, when they're children, don't go, I want to be in the natural gas business or anything like that.
Natural gas system manager.
Right. So yeah, when I was 4, I wanted to be a fireman, not a guy that sold great pipe. So anyways, I just want to ask you, how did you end up getting into the industry and to where you are today?
Actually, when I was 4 or 5, I just wanted to be a garbage man.
That's what I wanted to be.
No, no.
Ask my mother. I swear, I'll get her on the show. I swear to God. That's what I wanted to be.
It was really cool. Me and the kid across the street couldn't wait till Monday mornings at 7:30 and wait for the garbage guys to come through. And we'd follow them all through the neighborhood, because we just thought for sure we wanted to be garbage men. Yep. And then something else happened, and I thought I wanted to get into construction. And
was that at 7?
Yeah, it's definitely one of my own backhoe and a dump truck. But gosh, how I got into the industry, it's a long sort of story. I mean, as you said, Joe, I didn't even know the gas industry existed, honestly, till I got into it, I'll say, which is already 30 years, but seems like a lifetime ago. But prior to my introduction to the gas industry, went to the Maritime Academy in Massachusetts. After I got rid of dump trucks and backhoes, I just said, man, I want to go to sea. That looks exciting. So I went to the Merchant Marine Academy, graduated with a, degree, Coast Guard license. So I worked on board container ships, sailed around the world, left New York and headed east and sailed around the world and showed up in New York 3 months later. Saw the world through a porthole. It was a fantastic opportunity for a young guy like myself that really didn't know what to do. So many of my friends out of high school ended up going to UMass, Amherst, one of the many state colleges. And man, that was just too many decisions. I was at a time in my life where I wanted simplicity. I'm either going to be a marine engineer, which was the guy in the engine room that, ran the engines, or I was going to be, up on deck and be a deck officer. I just thought it was cooler to be in the engine room. So that's when I ended up getting to the engine room and sailing in my third assistant engineer's license, and spent 3 or 4 years doing that. Had a really, really fun time. Through a change of events, I guess something that I've been very, I'll say blessed to have happen to me. I've always had doors open. No sooner does one kind of close or a sense of closing, another opportunity arises. So through some mutual friends, I ended up working down at the oil refinery down in St. Croix. So that was, again, an awesome opportunity for a young guy who now had, more money than sense in his pocket. So I spent 3 years living.
Sounds amazing.
Oh, it was insane.
I'd do it now.
Do you have a book you've written? Because this sounds awesome.
Yeah, it was absolutely insane. Had so much fun down there. And again, my contract, it was a 3-year contract. As that door was closed, and I met another buddy, and I worked on I took a private yacht from the Virgin Islands up to Maine. In there, I met what would be my future wife. I met Kim down there in the Virgin Islands. That's where we met. So we both took a boat from St. Croix all the way up to Maine.
Wow.
Had a captain with us. I was, one of the mates, and Kim kind of worked as the mate. We worked up there for the summer. Kim went back to Virginia. I went back to the Cape. Through another mutual friend, I found myself working, running beach parties out of
You're going to disappoint me so much when you get to the point where you actually manage a gas system.
Right.
I'm just letting you know.
What
now.
are you doing?
I know what you do.
I didn't believe any of
know
those
what
three
you do
jobs.
now.
I know.
I know. I'm sorry.
You know how you have these stories that, man, if I could only do what I did when I was young, my whole life has been backwards. I had the best time of my life between 16 and 32. From 32 to 59, I've been like this. But anyway, I spent another summer. Kim and I both worked on this ship. It was called Ocean Quest, and it was a dive cruise ship left out of New Orleans, and took people on cruises, divers primarily, down through Cozumel, Cancun, Belize. Kim's job and my job was to take care of all the non-divers. So we basically ran beach parties.
I know somebody that's been on those. Lou's been on those.
Yeah, it was just absolutely insane. But again, working with people, yeah, it was really, really fun. But, here we are. We were both starting to, become 30. Oh, my gosh. We were certainly becoming more serious with each other. So once again, it was time to part. So I went up to the Cape again, Massachusetts, where I lived. Kim went back to where she was living, where her folks were in Pennsylvania. I lasted home maybe about a month and said, this sucks, packed everything I owned, or at least what I could fit in my Jeep, drove down to a town, Chambersburg, Pennsylvania, in the middle of a pasture. And yeah, this is where my story takes a little bit of a, Y in the road.
You went from St. Croix and all to Chambersburg.
Chambersburg, Pennsylvania. All in the name of—
We've talked a little bit before this, Jim, and I'm now starting to question your decision-making skills just a little.
I was exactly my statement I was about to come.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, all in the name of love. All in the name of love. In case Kim ever sees this recording.
Oh, she's gonna.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, yeah. All in the name of love. I packed up what I owned, moved to Chambersburg, got a $8 an hour job, working as a boat mechanic at some, bass fisher, store.
That's wild.
That just wasn't cutting the mustard. So the quick story is I ended up applying for a job as the gas technician trainee for the local gas company. This is where the story gets like, you did what? So anyway, I went from making, I'll say, very, very good money in my, early to mid to late 20s to resetting my life at $8 an hour.
Wow.
In the hope that this decision would truly, be fruitful.
Yeah.
I got the job. It worked out very good for me. Again, by happenstance, the manager of the utility was retiring. I was the only guy in the department that had a college degree. And so I kind of hopped and skipped it.
And it, oddly enough, it had nothing to do.
Well, yeah.
And, the short story is that I soon became the manager of the utility, the gas utility, a municipal utility in Chambersburg, and had a great 10-year stint there. Had a really, really fun time, learned the business really from the ground up. I mean, my first day, I was leaning on a jackhammer for 10 hours. Second day, leaning on a jackhammer for 10 hours. So I really learned the gas industry, I'll say, from the ground up. And I was blessed. I was blessed to be given the free rein, to do what I needed to do, to take care of what I needed to do, to investigate what I needed to do. And Chambersburg was a fantastic place for me. For 10 years, when I decided that, there's something else. There's something else for me. So out of the blue, one evening, I applied for a job in Easton, Maryland, working for Easton Utilities. The only thing I knew about Easton, Maryland was it was between Chambersburg and Ocean City, Maryland.
Near the beach.
Closer to the beach. That was the whole
Okay,
drive.
so this is where I'm kind of going full circle again now. So I figured, well, geez, if I work in Easton, that'll cut at least an hour and a half to 2 hours out my drive to Ocean City.
Cutting your commute to the beach, right?
Yeah, these are the reasons for my career change. I've always got my eye on the prize, right?
Finding your way there.
So anyway, I came to Easton 21 years ago. Easton's been fantastic. What I love most about working, and I still enjoy working at Easton Utilities, very dynamic. We don't think like a typical municipal utility. We are certainly a part of the town of Easton, but Easton Utilities, our CEO, our leadership team, our executive team, very forward thinking, very progressive. I mean, we're just into all sorts of cool stuff. So I came in, to manage the gas department 21 years ago. Over time, I was given the meter department, gas, electric, and water meters, absorbed that. Soon was given corporate safety, for the entire business. So I now am responsible and do an awful lot with that as well. So it's been a constant grow. So, here I find myself in my chair for 21 years at Easton Utilities, and it's fun every day. It really, really is fun every day.
It's important that you have that fun when you go to work. I mean, that's like part of why we love to do this show, because it's fun, and it makes going to work every day just, that much easier,
Yeah, and I think I've mentioned, whether to you guys before, if you enjoy what you do, I'll never work a day in my life. Yeah. I mean, I don't, God's honest truth, there hasn't been a day or a Sunday night or an evening that I don't want to even walk in the office. I enjoy coming here. This, as we all know, this is another part of my family here. We have a close management team. The fellas that I have working for me, the guys and girls that report to me, great people. I have a lot of fun here, and again, I've been given the latitude to explore, to do. Yes, with that comes the opportunity to fail, and that happens sometimes as well, but you learn from your mistakes, you pick yourself up from your bootstraps.
I love that. I love that. I love that.
That
part of your personality. Yeah, that part of your personality is really cool. It's that's really neat, and I think it kind of leads us into, when you got on this call, you had a jacket on and you looked really really prim and proper. You kind of broke it down a little bit for us in the t-shirts and the hats. But what do you? I mean, you kind of gave us a little run into your day to day. But what's a day look like for you? I mean, I know it covers a lot of stuff.
Well, I mean, a day today. I start my day like so many of us do, wake up, get in the car, drive to work. Luckily, I'm only 20 minutes away. And I've been coming to work, as many of the management team has here over the past 18 months, through the pandemic. We never really skipped a beat. We didn't have disparate teams that we could, necessarily keep at home. So gas operations, electric operations, the operations departments continue to post every day. So, my day starts it starts before I leave home, because I'm also responsible for gas procurement. So when I get up at, whatever time that is, and, get my contacts in and open up my laptop, the first thing I'm looking at is gas flows, because one of the things I'm responsible for is nominating or scheduling the gas that comes into town every day. So I have to go in and see, and you nominate gas for the day ahead. So I have to go in every single day and verify, did what I, ordered yesterday, show up today, and did we use the amount of gas that I thought was, and every day I have to be within 5%. So I can't have these wild swings.
Have you ever messed up real bad where you didn't get any?
Coming from 3 people who mess up constantly.
Oh yeah. Like you misplaced the decimal once?
I feel like it would be like a Tuesday. I'm like, oh my God, I didn't do it yet.
There has been time, messed up really bad. No, messed up. Yes, of course. Over time, when I was, constructing my own, models based on weather forecasts and, what the town flows on a similar day. It's not hard in the summertime because there's not a lot of heat. Well, there is no heat going on, so the loads are relatively stable. But when we get involved in the shoulder months, or we get a polar vortex come ramming into town, and it's like, give her all she's got, Captain. We're taking as much gas as our contracts can possibly take.
I have a really good question for you, because this is what weather station do you use?
Yeah, let's give them a little
Nobody ever seems like they're right, really. You got in there.
Yeah.
It seems like you got
Well,
to.
it's a group of them. I've usually, honest to God, what I kind of hang my hat on is Weather Underground. That is the weather station for Easton that I pay attention to.
Awesome.
I like their analytics. We also have a weather station on top of our building here that feeds information directly from our local weather station into Weather Underground. So I'm looking at, and this has probably been 5 or 6 years ago, where before I was like loading all this information in. I can go in through our Weather Underground app and really take historic information basically right from our site. So, but again, it's not 100% right. That's why I can take whatever the projected forecast is, wind, cloud cover, this, that, and the other thing, plug in all my numbers, hit the enter button, out comes you're going to use X number of decatherms tomorrow. I put that X number of decatherms in tomorrow and, take my rabbit's foot out and, throw it in the desk and away I go. If the wind doesn't show up, if the cloud cover doesn't show up, if it's every nomination is wrong, right? It's just a matter of how wrong it is.
Do you ever get it like really right on and you're like, yes.
Yeah. Oh, gee. Oh, you should see how stoked I am. In fact, if I get a nomination right on, oh God, it's like I'm dancing around the house. It's 10 o'clock in the morning. It's like, oh my God, it's like I hit the lottery. It means more to me.
That's awesome. Well, I know that you guys have a lot. I mean, being a municipally run utility, you have telecom and water and sewer, and I'm sure I'm forgetting, you have cable even, right?
Yeah, exactly. Fiber optics.
Communications,
right.
Is there anything that you do currently in your position where you guys overlap, or are they really siloed, in each division?
We try not to become siloed. It's amazing when I share walls with the electric manager on one side and the water manager across the hallway, and our operations crews share the same service center, different offices. You'd think that with this much passing in the hallway or at the coffee machine or hell in the bathroom, that, well, you guys would really have so much, integration between the departments. And how could you possibly be a silo when you bump into each other? Literally, it still happens. So we certainly work hard. We have weekly meetings, we call them work in progress meetings, where we talk about projects, which allows me, and where my job is, to be able to see what others are doing. So if gas has a job, there could well be overlap with a project on the electric side or the water side or the sewer side or a communication side. So there is.
I have another stupid question.
Wait, we're just asking because we're wondering if
we don't really
products
know
that we can sell to those departments.
I have a question.
We have tons of conduit. You guys sell conduit, man. We have conduit and plastic pipe out the wazoo.
When you're in Easton, Jim, do you have to call before you dig, or do you just know where your own stuff is?
Oh, come on, is that a trick question?
It's all your underground, right?
What day was yesterday?
It was 811.
It was August 11th, 811 day. One of the most important holidays on my calendar. I don't know about you guys.
I posted on it yesterday on LinkedIn. Yeah, for sure.
Exactly. Call before you dig. So yeah, and we have contractors putting. I mean, as you know, that's a really important initiative. Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, the most important thing I do. You can wrap all these tasks I do, and I love them all, but some of them are still tasks. What I really do every day, the real business I'm in, is public safety. I do provide a commodity. I do allow people to take warm showers and cook their food and heat their homes and do fun things. But at the end of the day, my primary concern, as it is with everybody's here, is the safety of my employees, my customers, the residents of Easton, those that we serve. So 811. Talking safety could be a whole, discussion and the concept of safety and theory of safety, and why some people get it and some people just don't seem to get it. And it's really interesting. You look at folks in the utility business. My guys. It's funny. A lot of the guys that work for me are also volunteer firemen. So all of us have this, going to sea is not for everybody. Running into burning buildings is not for everybody. Responding to gas leaks, construction is not for everybody. A lot of the folks that work in the utility are these kind of certain type of people. And as a result of them being that certain type of people that want to jump in, roll up the sleeves and fix it, The biggest problem I have is not people responding and doing stuff, is having them respond, pump the brakes a little bit, pause, assess the situation, and then make the next right decision. Because, they just want to go in and start,
Gangbusters.
Oh my God, yes. So it's really an interesting
You should
concept.
hire people like me and Chad, because we would never go fix it.
I'd be like, here, guys, what do you need?
Yeah, hold on.
Let me hand you
Bring
something.
the donuts.
Yeah, a good support role.
Jim, I got to tell you, honestly, hearing your responses, and you seem like you're a talker with your hands like I am as well, somewhat. But I got to be honest, though, you are probably the most enthusiastic about their career of any of the guests we've had in 70 episodes. It's 100% genuine to see like how passionate you are about, and that's not a slight on anybody. That's a kudos to you. Like you said it earlier, but your perception is
you love it.
But awesome. I think love your job.
But I think that's because, like he said, it's fun and he enjoys it and he gets excited and passionate about that. Yeah. And I think that's awesome when you see that in people in the not just in this industry, in any industry.
In general in life.
Yeah, I just think not a lot like a lot of people on Sunday, like you said, Jim, are like, oh, I got to work tomorrow. Yeah, I don't feel that way. Like, and you don't either. And I think it's really cool that comes out in conversation. You may not be aware of it, but it just does.
No, this is just me being me, and it's
yes, I know.
Well, with that said, for someone who seems to genuinely love their job so much, I'm going to ask, do you have a crowning achievement of your career that you can kind of hang your hat on, or something that you just want to be, besides meeting Joe Surratt? Obviously, that's most people's crowning achievement of their career. But
I don't know if it's crowning. It's an achievement.
But do you just have that one moment that you're like, man, this is, if I accomplished this?
Yeah, this, I mean, that's, yes, I have that as my own personal, I'll say achievement. But, just to peel it back a little bit, being here at Easton Utilities, came in here 20 years ago. Easton, like so many municipal systems that had a legacy pipe in the ground, Easton was just like that. Had a lot of cast iron, had a lot of bare steel, had a leak backlog. When we would have, contractors come in and do our annual leak inspection, we would spend the next 2 months, fixing the grade 1 and grade 2 leaks. Right. It was always fix and find and repair. We were always playing catch up. We weren't here too many years, or I wasn't here rather too many years before I sat down with the supervisors, sat down with the gas techs, had one of those come to Jesus meetings that says that we can't continue this way because we're going to get burnt someday. This what we're doing is going to get ahead of us. So we sat down and decided, the group of us, at that time, there might have been 10 or 11 of us. We made the commitment to each other, not just as manager, supervisor, employees, but as a team, as a group of, a band of brothers, that we're going to rebuild this system. And we all looked at each other in the eye. We shook our hands, says, we're going to make it happen. I then had to drop back and create the business plan for it. I was able to create the business plan, create the economic models, push that thing across the, the executive team, hurdle. So everyone knew what we were doing. We then dropped back again because I tend to spend more time with my guys across the parking lot than I do with my peers and upper management. It's just kind of how I roll. We then spent the next, it was every bit of 14 years. And if you told me it was going to take 14 years to do it, I would have said, I don't have the bandwidth to do that. But we spent the next 14 years basically rebuilding the gas system. We got rid of every piece of cast iron pipe. We got rid of every piece of aged steel pipe, whether it was cathodically protected or coated or not. Got rid of all the bare steel pipe, all the bare steel services. We now have a system that is all PE pipe and is all properly cathodically protected steel pipe. We went from having, 100 leak backlog to we just had our annual leak inspection. Oh gosh, it's August already. This would have been this past May, where we had a handful, and by a handful, I think it was 12, type 3 leaks, which are very, very small leaks and like a meter riser or something, almost undetectable by the sense of smell.
Good for you, Jim. That's great.
And that's all we had. It's like, and that is, and that's not my crowning achievement. I can say that I
you're
met.
part of it.
It's part of your legacy, man.
You know what?
Yeah.
It's like playing a team sport, right? You still won the championship. Like,
Yeah.
still, it's still.
And that's an interesting analogy. I kind of feel like the coach and the manager of a team, and that's how we do what we do. But when I do step away, and that certainly will be that. We, under my leadership, this is huge. I mean, it's one of those once in a lifetime type of career things. I'll never have the opportunity to rebuild.
I think, Jim, the most impressive part to me about it is, when did you finish when was the 14 years done? A couple of years ago?
3.5 years ago.
You almost 20 years. No, probably 12 to 13 years forward thinking to where the industry is gone. You've done all the work that all these other people are trying to do. And those people have billions of dollars to spend on it, and they can't figure out how to get it done. So that is a heck of a crowning achievement.
You've also made your gas department very easy to sell if they ever needed to.
Yeah.
Yes, you did. Also, that's a very great point, Joe, that not a lot of people would talk about. But that is
awesome.
Our system is set.
It runs itself. But again, because we're a municipal system, and the gas division is just as important as the electric, and it would be a very, very. We are the only municipal owned gas system in Maryland. Everybody else is a private utility. We're surrounded by Chesapeake Utilities. Across the bridge is BGE. A little to the north is Columbia. A little to the southwest is Washington Gas. We are an anomaly. We are, outside of our time. So it does make us extremely unique. And you're right. We've been able to accomplish things where our big brothers and even our brother and sister companies are struggling with.
Not even close.
And it's really coming from, the leadership that allowed me to do what I wanted to do. And I did it for my obvious reasons. But in today's world where natural gas, fossil fuels is like the bad guy now, it's a whole other discussion we can have. But the whole idea of methane capture, and if you have a leak, you got to fix the leak. But now we're equally as interested in the amount of methane you just released to the atmosphere, because you're contributing to, not that I believe this, but to, climate catastrophe and wildfires and tsunamis. So gas utilities are being ever more in battle, and unless you're sitting strong with what you've done, it could make your future questionable.
Well, it's funny that you say that, because it's going to kind of bring me my next question. You had the foresight 14, 17, 18 years ago to say, look, we need to, for different reasons, but you had the foresight to say, look, we need to get us to this point. We need to be here. Now that you've achieved that, you've actually kind of are ahead of the curve of a lot of gas utilities. They're going to be dealing with a lot of the changes, infrastructure changes and restrictions and requirements and all that are being pushed into, new legislation and things of that nature. My question for you, I guess, is, since you apparently had that crystal ball 18 years ago, where do you see the industry taking us in, let's say, another 5-10 years? What do you think?
Fishing in the Bahamas?
Yeah, no. Where does the industry take you? What are we still going to be doing?
It's going to be selling in 15 years.
Yeah, I'm still going to be doing this show.
That'll be on episode 4006.
And welcome to the 4600. Yeah.
Well, it's very, very interesting question, and Jim's crystal ball. I very much believe in the ingenuity of mankind, and I very much believe that while we're currently seeking, as a world, as a nation, the sequestration of carbon and methane as a cure-all for climate change, and we're seem to be getting beat up on all fronts with installation of gas appliances, or some towns and cities are even creating legislation to prevent the installation of gas in new buildings. I really believe that time, given time, will inure to our benefit. Natural gas, from where I sit and firmly planted where I sit, is still very important. Sure. There are niches, depending on how you pronounce it. I say niches. Natural gas still has a huge niche. it's not for everything. We can talk about NGVs, natural gas vehicles, or EVs. I get it. EVs just seem to make more sense for commuter vehicles, sedans, residential homeowners. You get much, into larger vehicles, over the road trucks, honest to goodness, you can look at, CNG for that or whatnot. You get involved in production, you get involved in manufacturing. It's going to be really hard to produce enough of energy, and by energy I'm talking kilowatt hours from an electric side, to produce enough energy in a manufacturing plant to build an to produce the automobile that's going to be the EV automobile. So I always think that while our customer base could be sliced and diced and kind of reduced in the name of climate change or something, natural gas is going to be here. Certain things in natural gas, the idea of introducing hydrogen. Hydrogen doesn't have any carbon associated with it. So the hydrogen, 20% hydrogen into an 80% mix, methane that, is being tested by some utilities right now to see if that can be done. I was reading articles that over in England and Europe, they're slightly ahead of us on some technologies. They're actually running hydrogen-based pipelines. They're converting the infrastructure.
Right.
So the same pipes that we have, the same meters that we have, the same appliances we have, do some modifications through our own ingenuity, through our own smarts, are going to make the next right decision. I don't see any of this as a doomsday for the gas industry. I don't see it as being we're going to shut our gas company. We need to be smart and nimble. I mean, not too many years ago, nat gas was a savior of the world. And then stuff happened, and all of a sudden, wow, we're not necessarily the savior of the world, but my God, we're important, and I think we're going to continue to stay relevant well beyond our careers and our children's careers.
Yeah. So I have two questions for you.
Yeah.
Number one, really quickly. So we don't leave to go to the solar market, right? That's number one.
Right.
You're saying that's your prognostic.
Shouldn't jump
And number
ship.
two, when are you running for governor of Maryland with that last speech? Because
He's going for a small county in the Bahamas.
Yeah.
So it's really interesting. I think, and I've had people tell me this, I get terribly passionate about what I believe in. Almost
awesome, man. I love
passion
it.
with purpose.
Absolutely.
Working, but what's interesting though, I work for Combo Utility. We have an electric, and that's where I have to pump the brakes sometimes. And some things that I am so like, my God, this is, there's one thing which I don't want to discount anything, because the good Lord knows what the next door will be, but I always thought of how cool it would be to work for a standalone gas company where you breathe.
It's probably a completely different vibe.
Oh, it's a totally different.
What are you mad that the manager of the electric department just got a bigger office? I feel like 20 years of having to walk by the bigger office from the electrical manager.
Oh, it's so funny. And in my first introduction into the industry, it's always been the big E and the little G.
Always.
That's how it's been. And
with a redheaded stepchild.
It's
electric. Something I kind of embodied that because, and this goes back to where I grew up in Brockton, Brockton, Massachusetts, kind of a worker man's town. It was the, shoe capital of the world during World War II. That's where almost all the shoes were made for the soldiers that went, into Europe to fight World War II. I grew up in a very working class family, kind of, embodied that, Irish, type of Irish Catholic, punchy type of thing. It was kind of my shtick. So I've always enjoyed
My shtick.
I always enjoyed being that, like you say, damn me, I'll make it happen. I will succeed. Just waiting for me to come out with my book.
I'll be the first one in line.
So, anyways,
well, Jim, I got to tell you, man. Are you sure you want to retire? Because I don't think you feel like you're done yet.
Dude, I am not retiring, and I'm so not done. I mean, okay. I seriously say I'm graduating. Okay. I spent 10 years in Chambersburg, and it was awesome 10 years, but I knew that I was done. I've spent 21 years here. It's been awesome. But I know that I'm done. Not that I couldn't continue to do great things here.
You're ready to write another chapter.
My time, yeah. I mean, I've been sitting in this chair, in this office, in these surroundings for 21 years, and to be quite truthful, it'll dull you. It'll take some of the spark out. I have to generate my own excitement and enthusiasm.
I don't think that's a problem for you, though.
I think you're all right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So I know there's a lot more out there for me. I know there's a lot out there for my family, and I'm so excited to continue whatever the next step is. Scared as hell, but
it's like that. It's like that Robin Williams quote where it's from some movie, and they're like, the guy's like, I have no idea what I'm going to do tomorrow. And he says, how exciting.
Did you know, this is a little fun fact. Did you know that this is the day that Robin Williams passed away?
I did not know that.
Also my birthday.
Mine too.
Today's your birthday?
Yeah.
Both of our birthdays. Yeah.
Should I have a cake or something?
We chose to spend it with you, Jim.
Should I have a cake or something? No.
You didn't bring the cake, Jim?
I know.
I told you had one
And the
job.
interview.
One job, Jim. You
One
just
job,
have
Jim.
job.
All right, seriously though, we've
Go ahead.
held you up long enough. I can't thank you enough for coming on the show and sharing your story with us and engaging with the three knuckleheads that we are.
Just your passion is like sorry.
It's contagious,
Yes.
like it's very exciting to see
agree.
someone who's been doing it for so long and still have that passion with purpose. So
That's awesome.
Yeah, I just want to personally say I had the luxury of meeting Jim, and the reason why he's on Connections a few weeks ago in Albuquerque, New Mexico at the APGA event. And we spent how many hours you think?
If it was 15 minutes with Joe, it was like a week and a half.
Can you imagine us two together? Can you imagine us two together? Yeah. We can put that one together.
Non-stop talk. None of us stop talking over each other. No one can get an edgewise.
No, so it was about 6 hours at the pool hanging out. We got to meet, and I thought he'd be a great person to have on. And I'm really happy that you came on and appreciative to get to
I'm
know
just
you.
appreciative that he talked to you again.
I know, it's very rare. Very rare.
Oh, well,
Jim, thank you very much.
I'm honored. I mean, I thoroughly enjoyed the invitation, and I had a blast. This is fun.
it is fun. It is.
Listen, and I owe you a dinner and some drinks, and I'll be cashing that in pretty soon.
Hey, I have one last thing. I'll be at the show in Ocean City, Maryland at the end of October with Adam. I think is it damage? I don't know what show it is.
Oh, for
End
real?
of October.
I think.
Yeah, the Damage Prevention Conference.
Yeah.
I'll be there.
Maybe I'll go now too.
Maybe
See,
me too.
you should
We're
go.
gonna. Well, I want to come too. If you guys are going.
No, you're not allowed to go. Sorry,
No,
you'll be late.
it's sold.
You'll probably
Tickets
be
are
late
sold out.
anyway.
There's
You'll be
tickets are
late.
sold out for the event.
Tickets are sold out.
I just bought the last one.
How dare you?
Yeah.
All right, let Jim go.
Thank you so
All right,
much,
buddy.
We appreciate
Thank
you.
Thank you.
All
Guys,
right, talk to you later.
This episode is brought to you by Clock Spring NRI, the manufacturer of Trident Seal. Chad got super blurry. I don't know what happened. I guess you don't like Trident Seal. For those of you that don't know, Trident Seal is a live gas leak repair system up to 60 pounds, meaning you don't have to shut down your service. You can install it on pipe diameters up to 6 inches. There's a lot of features, benefits, applications. I'm going to let Chad touch on some of those.
Yeah. So typically you'd think that a threaded leak would be a really tough thing to repair. That's kind of just where you start with Trident. So you can do threaded fittings, manifolds, meter sets, pinholes, things on main lines, pretty much everything up to 6 inch. It's a live gas leak repair. So
Above and below grade.
Above and below grade. Thank you, Joe.
That's a great feature and benefit, Joe. Some of the other ones are, it comes supplied as a complete kit, and it's honestly one of the quickest and easiest installations you'll ever have to deal with in the natural gas industry. It saves a tremendous amount of time. There's no hot work involved, no mixing or mess made. There's no contractor required to put it in, and you don't have to shut the customer down. You don't need any special tools. Everything's provided to you in a complete kit, and it's one of the best products that are existing in the natural gas industry right now.
Also, it's really affordable, and it saves a lot of time and money. So for us going through the emissions and trying to reduce leak points and connections and clean up our systems, this is a great product for those of you that don't know. For more information, you can reach out to any one of us on LinkedIn or via email, or visit our website at www.upscoinc.com. And
I think I'd be remiss without saying, I think we've sold over 10,000 kits as well with no documented failures. I think that's a really big.
I thought it was 30,000.
It might be 400,000. No, it's a lot. It's more than you can think about.
Anyways, if you guys want more information, reach out to us. We'd love to help you and supply with it.
Thanks, guys. Jim, thank you for joining us on the show. Great interview. Awesome backdrop, backstory. everything to go into place there. Chad's messing me up tremendously here by flipping green.
Sorry, I'm trying to make my green screen work again. I'm changing shirts next time because you guys yelled at me and now it stinks.
Okay,
Should listen to begin with.
Couple of things. We didn't yell at you. That's the first thing. The second thing is I like the ship in the map because it
Oh wow, he had that queued up.
Yeah. Like,
go ahead, Joe. Sorry.
this is turning into an advertisement for Snapchat.
I think this is great that we are able to set Joe up because we know he's just going to berate us when we say something that we.
I was actually going to compliment you.
Were you?
Yeah.
Oh.
I was going to say with Jim's history and the fact that he used to work on sailing and boats and been all over, it was a very apropos background.
That is a good.
And you know what? You started crying.
I'm sensitive.
Calm down, hero. So no, but in all seriousness, Jim, thank you. I honestly can say that I get to meet a lot of people, and there's not really, there's just some people that you really connect with and appreciate and enjoy talking to, and you find yourself 4, 5, 6 hours into a conversation later, and you're definitely one of those people. So thank you for coming on the show. We really appreciate it, just like all of our guests. But for me, I feel like I made a new friend, and I
didn't even get to spend time with him, and after talking to him those times, I feel like I made a new friend. He's just like down to earth, salt of the earth, just
good dude,
all around good people. So I appreciate it.
Wait a minute, and if you know Jim and you don't feel that way, please comment below.
I couldn't help but, and I know I commented and I said it during the interview, but like his enthusiasm, his passion,
his energy is amazing.
Yeah, it was awesome.
My daughter just gave this to me.
It was infectious.
Did she draw that?
No.
I know. I'm just kidding.
That's what she's been working on. So this is
let's go.
Be up behind me here.
It's an A+.
It's going on the wall.
B-.
What are we taking down, Joe? What are we going to take down to put it up?
Nothing. I just keep adding to it.
I like it.
Oh, all right. Well, that can only lead us to one thing for this week, right? I mean, that's typically.
Well, wait a minute.
Sorry.
Before you jump ahead, I wanted to just mention very quickly that for those of you that are going to Kentucky Gas Association in Lexington next week, Mr. Kuvo and I will be there. Teddy, unfortunately, won't be. He's got some other things going on, but we're going to be there. And please stop by, say hello. We'd love to talk with you guys. And, we may actually do a little bit of goofing around with some new recording equipment we got. So we'll see how that works.
Also our new booths aren't going to come in time. So if you have time,
wait till you see what we come up with.
Fun.
Yeah, they're going to be something fun on our table to do if you want to be there, if you want to stop by.
It is.
These guys are getting in trouble.
Oh.
Gas back.
Why is my green screen so bad today?
Because it's a Kubo. Yes.
Sorry, it's right there now. Now it's right there.
Hashtag Snapchat filters. So we're doing this gas back thing.
We're doing this gas back thing.
So just really quickly, guys, so for about 20 some odd years, we've been trying to come up with, or not we, but the America or the world has tried to come up with alternative energy options, obviously in the renewable sector, primarily wind and solar, right? We know that. So after 20 some odd years and billions of dollars spent in subsidies and everything that we've gone into that, what percentage of the actual power created and energy on the earth and the world is created by wind and solar collectively?
12%.
There he is.
I'm going 13. For the first time ever, I'm changing my answer because
and it's going to be 10-5.
I think it's 9. 3?
Wow.
I found that to be interesting.
That's crazy.
I also found this to be interesting. I got a few of them for you today. So to build one single 100 megawatt wind farm that can power up to 75,000 homes requires 30,000 tons of iron ore, 50,000 tons of concrete, and as well as 900 tons of non-recyclable plastics and fiberglass for the huge fan blades.
Holy moly.
So I can speak specifically.
That's good job. I'm proud of you.
Ted, speak.
I can speak specifically to this as I was part of, I ran the grounding crew for a wind farm that was put in Howard, New York. Back in my days as a.
It's pronounced Howard.
What?
Nothing.
Okay. So with that said, with the grounding crew aspect of that, when you talk about what's on Earth, what you see on top looks relatively small, but underneath is this entire rebar frame that's poured and encased in concrete and grounded with copper conducting wire. And essentially it goes in processes of it. And I was amazed as we built these things. I think there's 27 sites on that wind farm. Okay. And the amount of dirt that was unearthed to put the base down. Geez.
Can't speak.
You'll get there.
I can't speak into it. So it was amazing. But then, like you said, the amount of concrete and everything that's amazing.
It's insane.
I assume the iron. What's the iron ore for the battery? Something of that sort.
Well, so this maybe, I don't know. I didn't dig that much further in this, but I did find out that. So this is crazy to me. If you took Tesla's factory in Nevada, which is the world's largest battery factory. Now, again, there might be other factories, so please take that with a grain of salt, but that wasn't the really big part here.
We're fact checking shortly.
It would take 500 years to manufacture enough batteries to store just 1 day of America's electricity needs.
Come on.
1 year. 500.
I had a question for you, Joe. We had an interesting conversation earlier, and this is going to be completely off base, but I had to bring it up on the show. You said if you had enough money and you had enough genius, you would essentially build a large water pipeline. I had another idea to add on to a large water pipeline from the Northeast to California to supply them with water.
Right.
Well, why not in that pipeline add some hydroelectric stations for the flowing water? Look at that.
Because I don't think it would be enough flow to be
Probably
able to
not
actually build the energy or energy required. But that's another good point, though. So I did bring this up, and for those of you that may know the answer to this, you're not watching anymore, but whatever. If there's such a bad, we're in year 3 of drought conditions in California. They're talking about mandating water and restricting water and things like that. And so I live in an area in Ted too, where just 2 days ago, we got 6 inches of rain, everything's flooded.
Yeah.
So we have obviously the Finger Lakes where I live, and then all of the Great Lakes system. So as far as up here, we don't have drought conditions. Water is very, very abundant, right? How come we have pipelines, oil and gas pipelines that bring all of that stuff
raw materials,
thousands of miles,
yeah.
But we can't build a pipeline to bring water from the East Coast to the West Coast? Doesn't that seem logical? I maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
Maybe you couldn't maybe you can't get enough water there for it to matter.
How do you figure though?
I don't know. I mean,
wouldn't any help?
Yeah, that's how I'd look at it.
And put in 2 pipelines. I don't know. I mean, you can put in water lines that can be huge. I mean, we've all seen pipes that could, you could drive a truck through them. So I don't know if anybody knows the answer to that. It's not a gas fact. It's more of a question about water. That's a new section that we have.
I challenge any of our viewers who are still
our
watching
H2O section
to get an answer for Joe, and
I will
give you a prize.
1 or 2 of the people that are still watching this maybe could answer.
I'm not going to say what the prize is, but if you answer Joe's question, I'll give you a prize.
It's $5. Ted's going to send it. That's Doug.
So one last thing, back to what we were talking about. For the same amount of solar that we talked about is building the
wind,
the homes, the 70,000 power, 75,000 homes. For the same amount of solar, the amount of steel, concrete, and glass required is greater than 150% of wind. So if you were going to take whatever the numbers I just gave you to build a solar farm that would power 75,000 homes, to actually have it be, wind, it would actually for solar be 1.5 times.
Wow.
What it would be for
that's crazy.
So
makes you question some stuff.
I'm really frustrated with my green screen today, guys.
I know. Let it go, man. Let it go, Elsa. Time to let it go.
I almost broke out singing there. You almost got me, Jeff.
If you guys sing right now, I'll give you each $5 when I see you.
Let it go.
In tandem.
Let it go. Let it go.
Can't hold me back anymore.
Is that good enough?
You're only giving me
bad. You're giving me a quarter, aren't you?
It was the best $10 I ever spent. Now that's recorded. Yeah,
with that, no worries. With that note,
I also realized that you guys will do anything for money. So
actually, I would have done it if you just said, "Hey, you mind singing the song?" And I would have done it.
Yeah. I don't think you'll. I don't think you'll.
This episode is now 6.5 hours long. So.
All right. Well, hey guys, remember to click like, subscribe, share, follow. All of the things that we asked you to do normally. On all of our comment. We're getting some comments to start happening pretty regularly now.
Yeah,
because you're commenting.
But it's us.
Because you're commenting.
It's us commenting.
There's other people commenting as well.
Do you guys ever feel like that? Like I know people watch this because people say, "Hey, what's your show?" Right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
do you ever like just watch an episode and think to yourself, like, did anybody else watch this except me? Like,
100%. There's a lot, especially if I go back farther and I watch it and I'm like, somebody else watched this.
do you guys watch every episode, like the whole thing?
No, I'll skip through. I watched probably 20 minutes of every one. I watch 5 minutes and I'll skip, and 5 minutes and skip. I couldn't do it again. I can't watch myself that long.
What about you, Ted?
I skip
No,
around.
he does not. He has not watched one since week 3.
Yeah,
I skip around sporadically.
I always watch the intros and outros. Like
I do
watch the
too,
ones when I'm
actually. I
not
watch the
there all the
intros
time.
all.
I watch all the intros and outros, but I also probably like the interviews I segment, like you guys were saying. Like I'll take bits and pieces because I know where there's
You already
things
lived
I want
it,
to hear and listen to. So I don't know. Anyway, I just thought an interesting question we never talked about.
All right. See you next week, folks. We love you. We appreciate you. And Chad is riding a Sharknado out of here. Have a good one, guys.